Hey folks, this is Don Schaefer, and I'm excited to be with you because I believe I have a powerful message for you, and hopefully it will help you to look at your life differently and to realize the possibilities that you have as an individual that your Creator has given you. We've been basing this whole series on the fact that we are a hard drive created and brought into this world and have to be programmed onto everything since being a child. And that's where we're looking at the fact that a lot of times we are not programmed correctly. And we know that Scripture has it written that we are to be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind, that we can prove that perfect and acceptable and good will of God for each and every one of us. And that's what this is all about. We've been going through a series of topics. We call them upgrades. And this one here is Robbing Yourself 2.29. And it's an upgrade to your thinking process. And that's where if you go through this, you find it exciting. I've got some that I have already done, and I plan on doing more in the future. I invite you to go back because every one of these is an upgrade into the way of thinking. And this one here is called Robbing Yourself 2.29. God is about to do the supernatural in your life. And I've always started with a quote. And this quote here is in John 10:10, right from the Bible. It says, "The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they might have life and to have it abundantly." So God is wanting us to have an abundant life, but there's a thief in our life. And that's where we have to realize what that thief is and what it does to us. And the quicker we can do that, the more we can fulfill areas of our life that probably might not have been touched for a long time. And that's where I'm hoping to give you a greater understanding of all that. For the happiest people in this world are living on this earth as children. Children are the happiest people on earth. They are led by their imaginations and not their history. They have no history. Their history is very short. They have no history. So children, it seems like when they're young, they're happy and they carry on, they dream, they imagine things. All this stuff is working for them. I've seen the process with my children, and I know it works in all areas. They are as they grow older, it seems like something happens. As we grow older, it seems like something happens. And sometimes we lose something. Sometimes there is a thief that comes in and swipes something from us. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss how you can get past all that, because as a child, there is no fear of history because they have no history. And I know, like myself, as a young child, back in the day, there was not a lot of fear of thieves and that sort. Because I remember when I was young, my folks didn't lock their doors. We left our keys in the car. I mean, there was no fear of somebody taking something. Where today it seems like the house has got to be locked up, cars got to be locked up. You don't even go in the store without locking your doors. It seems like everybody has gotten themselves into such fear. And a lot of that, it protects you some, but it also creates an attitude in you sometimes that I think is keeping people from being what they could be in life. And I know, that's where today's society has completely changed from all that. And we have to understand that dreaming is one of the greatest gifts we could ever have. Our Creator has given us the ability to dream. And when we're young, we're very good at it. But the sad part is that not being able to dream might cost us everything. Not if we shut down the dreaming process, we might lose everything. For without the ability to dream, we rob ourselves of a beautiful future. And that's where I'm hoping this upgrade gives you an idea of the possibilities you have. I know yesterday I was just thinking to myself, what do I have to be afraid of? If in this world, we do not survive. I mean, that's just the way it is. We are born, we live, we accomplish, we do things, and then we move on. And I tell people all the time that we're not home yet. We're on a process of getting home, but we don't survive all this. So what's there to be afraid of? If the Bible says, if God be for me, who can be against me? If I can find the purpose of God in my life, what is it that I'm afraid of? What is going to be holding me back? What's going to be keeping me from dreaming of a beautiful future that's in front of me? We need to get ourselves into place and realize that this is the greatest gift we have, is to be able to dream and bring to pass our dreams in our life. And the beautiful thing about dreaming is it's absolutely free. You don't have to go and purchase anything. This is something you do by yourself. It's something we can do, and it doesn't cost us anything, a little bit of time. But it's an area of our life, a lot of times what happens is people have gone dormant. They don't dream anymore, because of circumstances. And that's where our imperfect past can create a flawed vision of the future. We can be in a stuck situation because of our past. We can't see into the future because of the mental quicksand that is slowly drowning us. We might have had failure in something, or something might have happened to us. And all of a sudden, we are gradually sinking into a quicksand without even realizing. See, a lot of this is very gradual. It isn't something that just happens like all of a sudden you snap your finger and you quit dreaming. But over the course of time, people have lost the abilities that they once had as a child. That's where the Bible tells us that we need to come to the Lord as a child. We have to get ourselves into a position where we think like a child again. I mean, not saying that we have the intelligence of a child, but we have the dreaming ability of a child. And that's where sometimes we get ourselves weighted down in life. We carry around suitcases sometimes of concrete that are weighting us down. And then we become so familiar with our fears and our flawed vision of the past that we're constantly being held back. We are allowing ourselves to be robbed of something that is so vital in our future, so vital in our life right now. It is the hope. It is the reason for living, to be able to dream, to be able to imagine. All this stuff is the process, to have a vision of what we want in life. So many people reach a certain point of life and they say, well, you know what? I'm done. I've had an individual tell me, I'm done. I'm just going to try to keep myself comfortable. And so much of our life is people, as we get older, they just try to keep everybody comfortable. See, I think there's more to life than all that. We're robbing ourselves. I know myself when I still dream a lot. I get a little heat from it once in a while, but I do. I've thought about having chicken farms. I used to have a little chicken farm. I thought about having a helicopter, and making a helicopter pad right there, learning how to fly. I've dreamed of a painting business, and I actually even started it, Schaefer Painting. And I even had a hotel. They weren't ready for me yet, but they were going to hire me to paint all the rooms. But with circumstances and things as they were, it never happened. But I dream all the time. I read a good article. I try to imagine that in my life. I try to put something into action because I want to keep the avenue working. I don't want to rob myself of anything, and I don't want you to rob yourself of anything. It is a part of our life, and a lot of times we shut it down. We don't dream. We get ourselves into situations just to pass the time. There is no dream, no imagination, no real future that we're looking into. We're just hoping everything turns out to be just fine. You can be afraid to dream because of the anxieties of your past. Sometimes, the things that have happened has created a fear inside of us. It's not so much the future that scares people, but the past. I'm not so much worried about that, but the past has instilled something inside me. I got to get beyond all that. I can't allow my past to control me and create fear. And we can free ourselves of this hold on the past that has on us. We can, if we can see it for what it is. It's interesting because the good book again says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. See, I believe a lot of people have been robbed of an element, but the truth can set a person free. So what I'm hoping is I can, not only me, but that you can hear the right things, the right ideas, create the right thoughts in your mind that'll open up a gateway that will say, you know what, my past, I'm going to shut that off, man. I'm going to change the channel of my life. When I go back to that channel, I'm going to switch channels. I'm going to go get into right now and the possibilities of the future. and I'm going to start dwelling on that. And that's where we develop a skill of taking our past and keeping it where it belongs and trying to bring the future into our life. One person that was a monster at all of this was Thomas Edison. This was a guy that was dreaming all the time. He had an imagination about him. He's seen things. His inventions are unbelievable. And we look at it today, what we have today, because of this man and his ability and what he had developed a skill in as far as believing in himself, believing in the possibilities of the future, looking at failure for what it was and what it is rather than dwelling on it and allowing his past to stop him. When his laboratory burnt down, he says, well, you know what, I just lost all this stuff here, but we're going to start over and make it better than ever. We're going to make it better than ever. Always looking to the positive of life, not allowing situations to shut him down. And that's where being good to ourselves sometimes by allowing ourselves to imagine. I can only imagine. Dreams are the product of our imaginations at work. So we get ourselves into the position where we start to imagine. And all of a sudden we start to dream and the whole process develops something. All of a sudden there's actions involved. And pretty soon as we look into our life, we're starting to see ourselves accomplish things. Why? Because we've activated something inside of us. You can always be dreaming while you're awake. People call it sometimes daydreaming. You see, life is but a dream. It's dreaming all the time. A lot of times people believe, the only time I dream is when I go to sleep and then I don't remember anything. I wake up, very seldom do I remember anything, but that's when I dream. No, you dream and should be dreaming all the time. It activates your imagination system. All of a sudden you start to see things. That's where it's important to be around positive things. Dream creators. Messages that stir you up in different ways, that activate you, activate the dreaming process of your life, because it's important, because our life is basically life and death, in a lot of ways, and that's where when we're in a dream state, our imagination flourishes. We get into a dream state, I know there's a song up there, I can only imagine, what life is going to be like in the future, but I'm going to be dreaming about this, and I can only imagine how good it's going to be and what my life and your life is going to represent in the future. And that's where I know too, there's a statement out there that says, the hour I first believed that my dreams were important, that I need to imagine things in life, that I need to put life to this sort of thing and allow it to flourish. It's a beginning. It's a beginning inside of our lives. And that's what happens sometimes in this whole process is we're reconnecting to our childhood ways. We get so far away from it. We get so adult. We get to a point in life where we get too much adult. And a lot of times adults, they've gone through things, and they just shut themselves down because I've been there, bought that, and all this sort of thing. But if we can get back to that process that we had as an inner child, not saying to be as smart as a child, but I'm saying smart enough to realize that dreaming is a process that we need to be a part of, our life can flourish. And that's where sometimes what happens is we develop mental boulders blocking us from our dreams in life. We have ingrained habits and patterns that are killing us. We are allowing ourselves to, we develop different boulders, different ways of looking at things that are killing our dreams. Or we get into a position where we start to speak dream-killing comments. I can't do this. I'm too old. I'm too big. I'm too small. I don't live in the right place. Didn't have the right parents. Didn't go to the right school. No opportunities for me. So I shut myself down. That's ridiculous. But a lot of people do this. They get themselves into a place where they completely shut themselves down, where this is the time right now to start dreaming and start flourishing in life. Sometimes people are so worried that people will laugh at them. You're just a dream boy. Well, good for them. When people laugh at me, I say, well, God bless you. You can hang on to the life that you got. But you know what? I am going to continue to dream, and I'm going to continue to imagine. I know myself. I got big dreams. Now, I'm hoping the process that we're working on here can help a lot of people. It's part of the dream that I have to be able to help others, to be able to share areas of my life and the things that I see, the things that have once robbed for me that I've freed myself of, that I can step out and help other people and encourage them to have the best of life. Because I do believe all of us were created with a tremendous purpose. God is, He didn't just randomly throw us on earth, but He had a plan from the very beginning. Scripture says that, and I believe it. And the hour I first believed it, it changed everything. I started to realize, everything about my life, good or bad, God has allowed to happen in the hopes that I can find a moment such as this where I can see things in a different way, where I can have a program upgrade, where all of a sudden I can go to 2.29 and start to see things in a different way and realize, I've been robbing myself. I need to get myself to the place where I can get into that dream state, where I can allow my imaginations to work, where I can allow my Creator to put thoughts into my mind, where the proper actions can be taken, and all of a sudden I am producing something of my life. I'm fulfilling a purpose for me being here, for me sucking air. Everybody's worried about their carbon footprints and all that sort of thing. But what about our spiritual footprints and what we've been designed to do? Are we sitting there wasting precious time, precious life for what? And that's where great success by intentionally acting on your dreams. We are in a process and a time right now where we can have great success in all that we're doing. Understanding that our dreams are important and not allowing the thief to come and destroy and to rob from us, but that we can have this life and have it abundantly, that Jesus Christ came to give each and every one of us. And part of that life is the ability to dream. It's the ability to imagine. It's the ability to get fear out of our life. It's the ability to get the past, let the past be the past, and look forward with hope to a wonderful future and dream forward to great things in our life. And the best time to be alive is right now. I am fully convinced of it, and I hope this was a help to you. I'm hoping that you can grab on to some of these thoughts, that this can be an upgrade for you. And if this resonates in any way, please like and share and follow us and become a part of us. You'll get every new message we send out, and hopefully you'll be connected with us next week where I have another upgrade coming out. Thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you next time.